Welcome back to Dial Dietitian. Today is episode number 5, and we are talking to Aimee Goodson, a dietitian in Texas. Aimee has had a really exciting career in sports dietetics, and Aimee also has a new business venture where she helps interns and new dietitians find their place. If you'd like to continue the conversation after the episode, make sure you click the link down below and join Nutrition Elevated's free Facebook group, the Nutrition Elevated Community. So let's go ahead and talk to Aimee. Okay, so today I am joined by Aimee from Texas. So Aimee, go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit more about why you decided to become a dietitian and what inspired you.
Sure. So my name's Aimee Goodson. I'm a registered dietitian in the Dallas, Texas area. So I actually got into nutrition through fitness. So I was a personal trainer and I taught aerobics when I was in college. I really loved exercise. I actually have a degree in communications originally. And as I went through college, I listened and learned about fitness, and I really just took a liking to nutrition. So my senior year in college, I went and found out about an exercise and sports nutrition graduate program that's here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas Women's University. And they said, okay, this is great, but you really need to become a registered dietitian. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And good thing I didn't totally know, right? Because it's kind of a long path, but I finished my degree in communications and then went there and did my undergrad work for dietetics, for DPD stuff, and then also did my master's in exercise, sports nutrition, and my internship there. So I migrated there through fitness and a love for fitness. And so then that just kind of took me down the path to nutrition. And also I really have, communications can be used a lot in nutrition. So it kind of paired nicely over time.
Great. And then from kind of reading your bio and learning a little bit more about you, it sounds like you kind of followed down the fitness and sports route with nutrition. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the jobs you've held as a dietitian?
Yes. So I've been super fortunate in my career to be able to work with a lot of different groups. So right out of graduate school, I worked for a few months for Lifetime Fitness as a registered dietitian, then immediately got hired by a sports medicine facility here in the DFW area. And I've started every job I've ever started from scratch, which I like. Some people hate that, but I like it. And so I worked for a big sports medicine facility that was tied to TCU athletics. And so in that space, they really hired me initially to be the consultant for TCU. Through them, we had a big agreement, let's say, with athletic training, physical therapy, all of those types of sports medicine services. So I was brought on to be the sports dietitian and then also start seeing clients. And we worked with lots of young athletes, high school, middle school age through our sports medicine facility. I also worked for an executive health program through our hospital, kind of like concierge physicals and whatnot. So I did that also for 4 years. So kind of in the wellness space. And then as my career grew, I worked for the Texas Rangers for 6 years. I worked for the Dallas Cowboys for 4.5. I consulted for multiple PGA Tour players, FC Dallas Soccer up here, lots of marathon, triathlon people. Through that space, I always kind of kept my communications world because I really enjoy speaking in media. So I did lots of speaking in the sports nutrition space, tied to a lot of different groups. So tied to Gatorade Sports Science Institute, to National Dairy Council, things like that. And so got to use a lot of my speaking skills as well as my sports nutrition media, did a lot of writing. I co-authored a sports nutrition book for triathletes, and then also did one with a retired NFL player, more in the wellness space. And so did that for that book actually just came out this last year in 2017. And so spent a lot of time in that space. I was at the sports medicine facility for 10.5 years. So really just had to work with all kinds of athletes, all kinds of wellness type situations as well. And then I actually left my job at the end of 2016, and last year, 2017, decided to start my own really more consulting practice where it still has a sports nutrition component, just less of doing that more full time, and then building more of my consulting, speaking type work. And I love program development and writing, and I like to figure out how to make things run. So that in that space, and then also launched a business just this year called RD Career JUMPSTART to help students and interns and new RDs, not on the science side of things, but more on the practical application, entrepreneurial, like strategic communications. Where do you get involved? How do you get involved? What's professionalism? How do you network? What do you do in interviews? All of those types of things, because that tends to be a missing link in that undergraduate to internship to first year profession space. So really try to fulfill kind of a niche that I don't think is really out there to kind of help students so that they're more prepared as they go into the profession with what they need. So multifaceted, but those are kind of my three spaces of my business now. So.
Yeah, that's so great. And it really sounds like you've been able to tie in both the like fitness and nutrition and communications kind of all throughout what you've done.
Definitely. Yeah, my dad once told me, he was like, you know, when you first went into this nutrition thing, I thought, how in the world is she going to use communications and nutrition? And my dad looks at me now, I've been dietitian for 12 years. He goes, this is how. I was like, yeah, I figured it out. This is great. So yeah, it's a good merriment. Because if you can speak and write and do that kind of stuff in nutrition, it really does open a lot of opportunities for you in nutrition and in the sports nutrition world. So
definitely. So moving forward, what excites you most about your work in nutrition?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest components to me is that like everyone eats. So everyone has some base need for nutrition, and you really have the opportunity to help a lot of people. For so much of my time I've spent in sports, but you know, back to my kind of passion for speaking in media, it gives you a bigger platform to be able to influence people. You have a bigger impact if you are able to reach more. And so I think I love it because you can really help people. And I feel like people have a lot of questions that are out there. There's so much misinformation. And so if you can be a sound voice of reason, actual science, but not crazy, like applicable things that people can do, I think it really sets you up to have a platform to help people and to be able to kind of be a credible source of information that they feel like they can rely on, whether they're watching you on a video, they're reading your blog, or seeing you one-on-one in a consulting environment.
I definitely agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
So if anybody is looking into becoming a dietitian and they're kind of looking down that path, what would be your first advice for them?
I think one of my favorite parts of the nutrition profession is there are so many different opportunities. And that used to not be the case. Like it used to be you were going to work in a hospital or you were going to work in food service. By all means, you can do those things still. But now you can work in sports nutrition in the military. You can be a sports dietitian. You can work in corporate wellness. You can set up shop on the corner and see one-on-one patients. You can work with kids. You can work with adults. I mean, I just launched, I got hired to launch a women's lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, wellness, beauty, fashion, web-based talk show. I mean, the list goes on and on, right, for the things that you can do. And I think the opportunities are huge. So my first step would be get a plan. So if you don't know what all you need, go to even if you're not going to go to your local college, whatever the biggest university is, go there, meet with an advisor and start to plan out the path. Lots of students get in and they just start taking classes and it's not very lined out. And then they realize, oh, they should have taken that one first, or they really needed that. And they miss their opportunity to apply for an internship or whatever. And so I would say talking to an advisor and getting a plan, and then strategically laying out what classes are you going to take, when are you going to apply for internship, and then after you have that plan, start looking at how can I start to get small amounts of volunteer experience, because that's essential to getting into an internship. So you have to make good grades, but you also need some experience. So not overwhelming yourself, but thinking maybe one semester you're going to commit to volunteering in hospital. I don't know, one semester with a dietitian that does communications or community nutrition, so that you can get some varied experience, but not running yourself crazy. So I think commit to something for a small period of time, get that experience, and then try something else, because that's going to make you a more well-rounded component, or more well-rounded person as an internship candidate, and then eventually even to apply for jobs, because you would have a large base of references and experiences to pull from.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I think especially like even thinking back to my own student days, it can be easy to get kind of lost in the mess of, oh, we have a lot of classes and not necessarily thinking about the future and how you're going to kind of lay things out for success into getting into an internship in general, and much less.
Well, and the field is becoming much more competitive because so many people are interested in nutrition and want to be dietitians. So if you're just kind of lollygagging and going to school and not really thinking it through, you might be putting yourself at a disadvantage. Whereas if you'll strategically plan, okay, here's my school classes, I'm going to start to gather these experiences through these routes. I'm going to go out of my way to take a class here or network here and go to a conference or whatever. I think it just sets you up to put yourself in a better position for an internship, for a position. Like I tell all kinds of young students, interns, whatever, you never know who's going to give you your next job. And the person that you meet at a conference, the person you volunteer for might be the person that employs you when you become a dietitian. So building those relationships and developing those networks are really important. I cannot tell you how many contacts and people that I have that they're like, oh, well, you should call Aimee. And I have gotten numerous consulting opportunities from one of my colleagues saying, you should call Aimee. And, I think people don't really value that in a competitive environment. Having people that are playing and working to your advantage and are going to promote you and talk about you and recommend you is essential. And they only do that if they know you. So paving that path, getting involved, networking, volunteering is going to allow you that opportunity to be able to set yourself up for some of those positions. So,
yeah, that's really, really great advice. So tell us a little bit more about where we can find you on social media if we want to connect, and then about everything else you have going on.
Sure. So my website is AimeeGoodsonRD.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Aimee_Goodson_RD. On Instagram, I'm AimeeG.RD, and then Aimee Goodson Nutrition Consulting on Facebook. And then on my LinkedIn, just my name, Aimee Goodson. And then my business for students, interns, and I would say 0 to 5 year RDs, and some of them I think even further than that, that's rdcareerjumpstart.com. And I have 8 different webinars that are all designed, like I mentioned, in the space of really learning what the skills that you need outside of like the knowledge that you have. And each one comes with a worksheet so that you can work through that and think about how you're actually going to apply that information, what things you're going to start doing or working on in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, etc. And then there's also 3 coaching packages, because taking your goals and having someone that has experience in networking and that and helping kind of help you go, kind of pave the right path or go the right direction can be helpful. So it's RD Career Jumpstart at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So all 3.
Great. Thank you so much, Aimee. And if you guys are interested, definitely check out everything that she has going on. And she would be a really, really good resource for you guys.
Definitely. The goal is to pave the path so that, people helped me. And so I think it's really important that we open up doors for younger generations to have the same opportunities that we've had, and it's way more competitive now. So the more resources that you can provide to, students, interns, et cetera, and giving them the opportunity to learn some of these other skills that might set them apart, I think is crucial and essential to helping create, really qualified dietitians in the future.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Aimee, for talking with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm sure people are going to get so much good stuff out of this. So thank you again, and we will see you guys next week. Next week on Dial a Dietitian.
Something that I'm looking forward to is starting my PhD in the fall in hospitality management. Something that I really think of that's important is kind of education. And that's what I want to go into, is kind of educating like future dietitians. You can kind of see my wall of degrees and diplomas behind me.